Hello, everyone. I told you that I would continue to bring you updates as they unfold in the Mississippi welfare scandal. And so Brett Favre is back in the news again, which was part of the scandal. This particular information, I've talked about it in the scandal, but it's now investigators are talking about this, and people actually are actually there's a controversy about it, and so he had this drug Prevacus, right, that he was pushing, that he had been pushing, and so allegedly he used this drug on some dogs, a half a dozen dead dogs, okay, for using them for this production of a concussion cream from welfare money that led to lethal trials on dogs, okay? So he used these dogs as trials, lethal as trials, and it became lethal for a half a dozen dogs. And so he is under scrutiny for allegedly funding trials on dogs for the production of concussion cream through welfare money. Okay? See, it's one way to skin a cat, because he's been out here talking about how he didn't know about the welfare fund money, which was part of the temporary assistance for needy families program under the welfare fund. And that is federal and state tax money, which I've covered in my previous videos. And so again, in my opinion, again, looking at what's been out there, the information, he needs to be charged. And now that these dogs have died, he might get charged, because when it comes to animals, you have animal activists. You also have people that don't believe that animals should be treated with cruelty. Animals should be loved. Animals should be protected. And so with that being said, he might wind up being charged. I don't know if he will or not, but I believe, in my opinion, he should be charged for stealing the money anyway and lying about it, using the funds, knowing where they were coming from. Because if he really didn't know where those funds were coming from, he wouldn't have had to say, would they be able to know where the funds came from, or would they be able to find out where the funds came from? How can this be worded so that no one will know that they were welfare funds? And so he knew. And I'm not going to take that back and say he did not know. Brett Favre knew where that money was coming from before he took it, before he received it. However he received it or got it, his hands on it, he knew where that money was coming from. There were discussions about it between him and the former governor, Philip Bryant. And he also knew about Nancy New's two nonprofits. So there is just no excuse for this man's behavior. He was one of the best quarterbacks of all times. And he is in this controversy yet again, as he is accused of funding the production of a concussion cream through welfare fund money. Okay? And his legacy is getting shattered. And it's not disheartening to me. It's disheartening that he took money that belonged to the Department of Welfare. And the other people were charged or and everything like that. And he is no exception to the rule. And I think people are trying to protect him because of his legacy and the hard work. And he also was inducted into the Hall of Fame, which they need to pull that Hall of Fame stuff, pull it out, because he's not a positive role model for any of these young people coming up that want to go to the pro, that want to look up to him. He's not no role model. And not only that, some of these same young people might have needed that money to help them succeed in life, to help their parents turn things around for them to live in a more excellent way, because a lot of the money that was taken also was supposed to be used to help families learn how to live a different way and how to maybe own businesses and things like that to level up. And he took the money. You know what I'm saying? And acted, and then went around saying he had no idea. And I still dispute what he's saying. And so now, not only was he, accused of funneling Mississippi Welfare Fund money to build a volleyball court in his automated, where his daughter was attending at the time playing volleyball, but now he's involved, which he has been involved anyway with this, because that was part of it. So this is nothing new, but they're making it a new controversy when it really wasn't new, because they weren't talking about it. Now they're talking about it because it led to the death of a half a dozen dogs, according to Front Office Sports. And now the cream that is in question is called Prevy Pro. Okay, Prevy Pro, or Prevy Pro. However you want to pronounce it. It could be Prev Pro, or Prevy Pro, or Prevy Pro. Okay, whichever way. But anyway, Prev Pro is which I'm going to say, which is said to treat concussions, which sounds too good to be true. Now, people been playing football for decades, and no one discovered how to treat concussions better than licensed physicians, okay, that have went to school for years. So he comes out with this cream, questionable cream, which is said to treat concussions, which does sound to be too good to be true, because I've had brothers play football, play high school and minor pro football. So but they've never suffered a concussion. Praise God. Thank God. So the cream was not in the market currently, and it was going through trials. But that didn't stop Favre from publicly endorsing the cream to popularize it, as concussions are a major part of the football due to the physicality of the game. So what he was basically trying to do is he was trying to popularize it, because he wants to make money off of this cream, and he wants to be able to say, well, I'm the one that came up with this drug that will help concussions. You know what I'm saying? So Previcus is a company that's going to treat concussions, but we also have a pre-game cream. This is what he's saying. Prevy Pro, or Previ Pro, which is available now, Favre said in the interview. Now he's saying that you can apply it on the neck. It's a cream. A concussion is inflammation of the brain, which is bad. It adds some relief for 6 hours. It's pretty neat. Now, Front Office Sports went on to say how he funded over $2 million, allegedly, from Mississippi Welfare Fund to produce this product and market it. Now, though there is no final verdict, is out as the investigation. That's what I told you all from the beginning. There's an investigation. Investigation is still ongoing. People have given their verdict on this controversy, and Brett Favre has been exposed to lots of hate since then. And so they're saying that he's been exposed to hate. And it says, you can't do this. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers brutally slammed by former teammates for insensitive remarks against his current Packers teammates. He's receiving an enormous amount of hate since the Mississippi Welfare Fund scandal. He was silent for a couple of weeks after these controversies came out, and he became a victim of incessant trolling and hate as his legacy as a legendary NFL quarterback was getting shattered. He recently gave a statement regarding the incident and urged the people to stop smearing him with hate, as nothing is proven yet and the investigation is still ongoing. And he says, I have been unjustly smeared in the media. I have done nothing wrong, and it is past time to set the record straight. He said he holds a stance that he wasn't aware of the source of the money when trying to build a volleyball court in his alma mater, but the facts state otherwise, as a text conversation of him was leaked in the media. And Favre can't seem to get himself out of controversy, as he has just landed in another one. The authorities are currently investigating all of the supposed wrongdoings and will be out with a verdict soon. Now, I want to say this because I said it before. I do believe that he knew. I do believe he knew. And that was even before the text messages. Something in my spirit said he knew. Because when you're receiving that type of money, you are not going to just not know where this money is coming from. You are more than likely going to need to know, because if you are trying to do business with any legitimate business people, you are going to want to know where the actual money is coming from. No one just receives money blindly. Okay? And so I still believe, before the text messages came out, in my opinion, I believe that Brett Favre knew exactly where this money was coming from. He was not receiving blind funds because he was involved with the former governor, Phil Bryant. He was involved with Nancy News nonprofits, which she actually is, she's actually cooperating with the investigators and prosecutors to stay out of state prison because she was, she was convicted and she has to pay restitution back, and so does her son. And there's other people that were also involved. And see, Mr. Davis just got sentenced to 32 years behind bars. I mean, he's getting sentenced. He got sentenced, but he hasn't. I think he has to go next year or something like that. But he was convicted, and he's going to be facing 32 years behind bars. I stand corrected. He is facing 32 years behind bars, but he was definitely sentenced recently, and so therefore he's going to be going up for sentencing, I believe maybe in January, sometime next year. So sometime next year, he is going to be, actually sentenced for his crimes. And there were other people involved as well that took money, and they're like saying, I'm not paying that money back. Like one of the football players that I did, a video on, the last one I did, where I named them and I talked in detail about, what they used to do, and what they're doing now, and what they have been accused of. And so, when we talk about federal and state dollars and how we are sitting here going through, sitting here having to get up and go to work and earn our money legitimately and pay for things legitimately, while people with money that already had some fame and fortune are stealing money. And that is very grievous to me. That is despicable. That is shameful. And it's a crime. And so therefore, everyone involved in that Mississippi welfare scandal needs to be held responsible and take accountability. And Brett Favre is no different. And he can come out and speak all day long and say that he stand on the fact he didn't know. He did know. No one's going to accept that type of money without knowing where it's coming from. And in those text messages, they clearly state, and he wanted to know, can they ever find out where this money came from? There is no reason to question or even bring that up if you were legit in accepting money. And if you had a question about it or any reservation, you would not have accepted that money. If I have to ask, can they find out where the money is coming from, then that means that I don't need that money. I need to step back and I need to find another way, a legitimate, honest way. And Brett, you have lack of integrity. You are dishonest, and you ought to be held accountable for taking money that did not belong to you, because that money actually belonged to taxpayers. And people that pay their taxes pay into money that is distributed. And for you to take the money and do what you want to do with it is pretty selfish. For you to take money and then don't want to pay the interest on that money that you did take, and you should be paying back every dime, including the interest as well. And you also should be held accountable as far as, a case being brought up on you, charges, okay? And you need to serve whatever time that they give you, because you are not the role model that you have been playing in the league as. And we might have sat on our couches and watched you play football for many, many years, for over 2 decades. And you made money, over $140 million, or whatever, $40,000 or whatever you allegedly made, or millions, whatever you made. You made that kind of money, and you still took from the welfare department to go ahead and fund the things that you wanted funded. And now you have this drug out here testing it on innocent dogs, and they have died. So where do we draw the line at? And so for you to say, I'm not here to hate on you, I'm here to try to hold you accountable. And I hope that people hear these videos and see these videos to hold you accountable. Allegedly is what these articles are saying. So I'm going to say allegedly, but I'm going to operate under my freedom of speech. This is not something that I'm making up about you. These are articles that are being put out about you. So I'm not just rolling with just making stuff up just to say, yeah, I don't do that. I'm not that type of person. But based on these articles, this is public information, and this information is cited. That's why I like to cite what I am talking about, so people can go and find it for themselves and search and read the article for for themselves. And if I've missed anything or misstated something, please respectfully correct me on that. I have no problem with standing corrected, but I do have a problem with Brett Favre stealing money and then turning around and using dogs for his trial to test the medication or drug that he is using. And now you have innocent dogs that are now deceased because of this. And he's still out here saying that he didn't know where the money was coming from, when he, in fact, in my opinion, he did know where this money was coming from. Again, there is no reason to not know, especially with this type of money. And from the very beginning, when this story came out, the very first time, as far as, there was a questionable suspicion of him, taking the money and saying he didn't know. And I think a lot of people want to take his word at face value, because he is he has a legacy of being, one of the best quarterbacks, in the NFL. And then he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. But also, his show was put on hold. That show, I can't think of it right now, on the radio, Sirius. His show was put on hold because it needs to be on hold, because we need to get to the bottom of this. And he even said himself, until then. So until then, I'll wait. Patience is a virtue. And so we just have to be accountable for our actions, no matter what is, going to be the outcome. He is entitled to due process, and things like that. But I'll wait, I'll wait. I'm patiently waiting. But as we patiently wait, I will continue to bring you all these stories of Brett Favre and allegedly, because these stories, I'll say allegedly, but this is a disgrace. It really is, that you stole money and then you're telling people you didn't know where it came from. It's despicable, and it's disgraceful. And we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to get to the bottom of this. And maybe they will now that dogs have died. Because, when it comes down to dogs, like they did with, what was that player that was having those dogs fight against each other and he served jail time? What was that player's name? Now, I can't think of his name. And they said that was a crime, and he was an NFL player. Very good. Very good. He's a very good player. So anyway, with that being said, you guys, leave your respectful comments below. Don't forget to rate the video. Preferably a thumbs up, but rate the video, share the video. And thank you all for supporting the channel. And I will be back. I will see you soon. God bless you all.